Okay, I am joined now by the one and only, the legend, the person who I would describe as a waterfall of wisdom. Linda Perry, how are you?
I like that. Waterfall of wisdom.
Hey, listen,
That's
it's a
good.
co-write already. We're heading for a co-write. We've got matching shirts. We're co-writing. It's all
Mm-hmm.
good. I owe you a big thank you, and you'll have no idea why. So let me just tell you this. My son is 8 weeks old as of today, right? And there are 3 songs that stop him from crying. All About You by McFly. Shut Up at Your Face by Joe Dolce. And What's Up? What's Up by the Four Non Blondes. So I don't know if that was
that's
your intent.
amazing.
I don't know if that was your intent when writing that song, but it's really, really helping us out. And sincerely, from my wife and I, a huge thank you because it's helping every night.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's sweet. Congratulations. I have a 6-year-old, and when his songs that he loved were Yellow Submarine by the Beatles, and there was I had this really weird, rough demo of a song of an artist I worked with, and my son was just out of control, crying, couldn't get to sleep, and I just panicked and put this song on. And it was literally the song. No one's ever heard it before, but it was just a song that he just loves. So I get it. I appreciate it.
Well, your son, pardon me, what's your son's name? Don't make me ask.
His name is Rhodes,
Rhodes.
the Fender Rhodes.
Yeah. Now, he's a privileged young man because you mentioned Yellow Submarine, and he was with Ringo Starr, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what was going on there? Is this a top secret thing? Is there anything you could tell us?
So, yeah, my son is at a very early age was a big Beatle fan, and Ringo was his favorite. And I have videos of him saying Ringo's his favorite Beatle. And then, he's 6 now, but just I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, I think it was 6 months, 5 or 6 months ago, Bruce Sugar, which is Ringo's producer, reached out and said that him and Ringo were talking about me and felt that I'm one of the best songwriters out there and that we should get a song from me. And I was like, first of all, back up. You and Ringo were talking about me. And so, of course, I said yes. And, didn't really know what was, the project was exactly. And then, so, one day I was leaving work and I started walking out my door and let me go back in. I think I have a song in me. And so I just literally wrote this whole song, demoed it down really quick, played bass, put guitars, all that. I mean, just super fast and just, okay, this feels good. This feels like Ringo Starr to me. Sent it along. And then I get a phone call back from Ringo about a few days later, and Ringo calling and saying, oh my God, it's like, you're speaking my words. It's exactly who I am, because the song's called Coming Undone. Anyways, he loved it. And then him and the producer were on, and then this was the best compliment ever. So they're like, this song is amazing. First of all, who's playing bass? Because that is incredible feel. Whoever's playing bass, we want to keep that. And I started laughing and I go, that was me. That was just me playing it, getting the song down. And he thought it was phenomenal. And so, mind you, Paul McCartney is the best bass player ever. And to get Ringo Starr, who played with the best bass player ever, to say that about my feel, and it was phenomenal, was that was it. So that was it. And so I recorded, I left, they kept everything I did. I sent it back to them. Ringo played drums and put the vocal on. They sent it back to me. I put some vocals on because he wanted me to sing with them. Then they wanted me to come down and listen to the song and do a little video of hanging out with Ringo, and acting like we're in the middle of recording. And then I was like, hey, son, do you want to go on a adventure with me? And he's all, what? I go, I got to do this thing for work. Do you want to come with me? And he's like, okay. So we go. And he's like, where are we going? I'm like, I just got to stop in and do a quick video. And he's like, oh, okay, great. So we walk in. And first of all, I'm greeted by Peter Frampton. And I'm like looking at him going, and I met him long time ago. I'm like, Peter, hello, what are you doing here? And then Ringo walks out and my son is looking at him like, wait a minute, this guy looks very familiar. And then I'm, son, this is Ringo. And he's just like kind of still taking it in. And then Ringo he's like, so do you play drums? And he's like, yeah, I play drums. And I'm like, well, he's still learning. He's getting lessons. And Ringo says, well, why don't I give you a lesson? And then right then Rhodes got it. It all clicked in. And then it's like he turned like red and started like getting all shy. And then it was like beyond for him. He couldn't believe it. Like it was like the best day ever for him. And Ringo's the nicest man. I mean, literally the nicest. And he looks so good and he's healthy and he's funny and he's happy. And you just get this feeling of this guy is just living a good life.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad I asked that. That's such a good story. What was more thrilling for you? You getting to work with Ringo or providing your son with that amazing opportunity?
I mean, I'm always going to choose anything that has to do with giving my son a life lesson, an incredible experience as the number one thing, because I feel like he takes in so much information and it's all good for him. Like I really am very transparent with him. I tell him everything. And I could tell that was a really big moment for him. I could see the way he was reacting. And he talks about it still. He has pictures of it. He watches the video of when he was 1 year old talking about Ringo and then seeing the picture of him with Ringo. So and he's making the connection. It's not like, oh, yeah, I've met Ringo Starr and he's throwing it, So okay. I think, just to have that kind of connection to that this is a very important piece in your life right now, like he really got it. So that to me is, hands down the better thing. But, writing a song and singing and playing. Now, mind you, I didn't just write the song. I got to sing with Ringo and play bass with Ringo. So that to me, it's definitely a big one for me.
That is amazing, Linda. That's truly amazing. I'm so happy that opportunity for your son came about and that you got to work with Ringo playing bass. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more. It's absolutely great. I'm going to quickly put you under pressure here because you posted in social media a couple of weeks ago. You asked your followers, what's your favorite Beatles song? If I can ask you the same thing, give me 3 or 4. If you get one standout or maybe ones that you really like, what are your thoughts?
I've thought about that many times, and I think I don't think it's the best of the songs, but it's the one for some reason for me emotionally. It really, and it probably wasn't what what the expectation of the song. I understand what the song was about, but for me, Help was like still today, when I hear that melody and hear that song, it emotionally triggers something in me because it had, I don't know, there's something about the time, because I believe it might have been 1967, 1968, something like that.
65,
when that song
that was Help, yeah.
Was 65. Okay, so when I really discovered Beatles was more when I was 5, 6 years old. And I had a very troubling, I had a hard upbringing. And for some reason that song just, it hit me, because of the word help, because I felt like inside I'm screaming that, help. And it's like, and then melodically, and just how simple. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the Beatles. Like, a lot of the songs were super simple, but melodically complicated and lyrically very adventurous about taking you somewhere different than the obvious, So anyway, so yeah, I mean, there's so many, but when to answer that question now, I would just say that.
No, you mentioned honesty there, and you actually mentioned it as part of the first question as well when you're talking about teaching your son life lessons and you're very transparent with him. Honesty and you have gone hand in hand since the start of your career, but what gave you the confidence to be so honest? Obviously, we all know the story. And in the midst of this, the second album, the Four Non-Blondes, you took this big, bold step of leaving. And as far as the honesty goes, where did that confidence come from, just to be so honest with everybody that you've interacted with?
I almost want to say it's because there was a lack of honesty in my life. Everything was hidden. So many skeletons, so many lies, so much manipulation. And I just couldn't bear, and I just can't bear, even putting anybody through that kind of stuff, whether it's a stranger or a lover. Honesty is how I survive. And being honest with myself and being honest about my feelings really literally has been a survival tool for me. And it is constantly such a beautiful gift. To me, honesty is just the most beautiful gift you can give anybody, because there's so much we can heal and do with that, like, even if it's a stranger, like as simple as, walking down the street and telling somebody their fly is open. You know what I mean? It's like, I do that shit all the time. Like, hey, you got something in your tooth, or hey, just to let you know, somebody's picking out of your nose. Your fly's down, blah, 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 blah. I do that all the time. And to watch the people's expression, like, like they're just so grateful, it's refreshing. And it's weird that honesty is a refreshing way to be, being honest. So I don't know how to lie. If I've told a lie or even white lied something, it like literally eats me away. And so I'm really grateful that I I was able to turn things that were not so positive into something positive, instead of going down. You'll hear a lot of stories about, kids growing up and choosing the same path as their parents, or, growing up just like their parents, being a bad parent. Like, I am a great parent, because I had such bad ones. And what a gift, that my parents gave to me, whether they knew it or not. They gave me an incredible life lesson. Don't be me when you grow up. And that's all I saw, was I'm not going to be like those guys at all. So I feel lucky in that area that I was able to turn things around and build a life and have so much great intention. And I like to help, and honesty helps.
Yeah, and talking of helping, you've helped many artists' careers. Apart from obviously being a great singer-songwriter yourself, that's a big part of the reason why a lot of artists are drawn to you. But as a large part of the reason as well is the honesty, is because when the record company or whoever it may be are going to send that artist to Linda, she's going to tell you exactly what she thinks about that song. That's got to be a big draw, surely.
Well, I think that, yeah, I definitely have built that, reputation. And I do have people that come to me specifically just to listen to an album or an artist and tell them what, I think. And a lot of times, and this is life, sometimes people just get unsure, they have doubt, of course. I mean, this business helps, it incubates doubt, like, from labels not knowing what they're doing or talking about, but because they're the label, they act like they know everything. And it creates doubt on the artist because, wait, they're the label. They've been doing this forever. They signed that person and that person, so they must know what they're talking about. And the truth is they don't, half the time. They might have an idea. Of course, we're all smart. We all have ideas, but really every artist needs to be catered to differently. So, so I'll get people, A&R managers, whatever, and play me a record because they just need a second opinion. And they know my opinion is going to be honest one. I don't want anything. I'm not trying to get a gig. I don't need their help. I don't need their money. I don't need anything. So which makes me a great person to come to because I don't need anything from you. I don't need anything from you. Thank you for talking to me, but I don't need this, but I want to participate in the growth of the music business. And in order to do that, you have to be honest. And so, so people come to me for an opinion and they know my opinion is going to be a valid one. And I give it. And sometimes they don't like it, but they totally hear it and respect it. And most of the time they knew all of this before coming to me and they just needed validation.
Mm-hmm. And so you've worked with many artists, as we said. I want to get this story, if it's okay. Christina Aguilera, of course, amazing song, beautiful that you'd written. To go back to the Beatles, being a big Beatles fan myself, I would love to have been in the room when John Lennon was presenting Help to the rest of the group. I just think it would be amazing to be a fly in the wall there. So if you can, please take us back to the first time that you played Beautiful to Christina Aguilera, and if you could talk us through her reaction at the time.
So, Christina was an interesting one because here's this girl that had a booming career, with Genie in the Bottle and What a Girl Wants. And, it was very, very, it was lighthearted, kind of lyrical. It wasn't deep. It wasn't going anywhere crazy, but she had a thing and she had this really incredible voice. And, and when I had met her, I just picked it up, right away, and so I was like, you should use your depression and darkness on your next album. And she looked at me like I was like, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, listen, everybody knows you can sing, but nobody knows that you can feel what you're actually singing. And she just like was, dropped her mouth but whatever it was that I said, it got her attention and she called, her people reached out a week later. And so she came over and I don't allow management. I don't allow I don't allow posses, whatever, whatever those people are called.
Entourage.
Your entourage. Not allowed in my studio. And all that is distraction. So she showed up by herself and she was like, nervous because she's not used to that. And she's like, I'm a little nervous. And she was open. She's like, I'm nervous. Do you think you can play me something to break the ice? I think you have a beautiful voice and I like your voice and I great to hear it. So, and I had just, written Beautiful and did the finishing touches on it. And so I just played that to her. And, I could feel her presence getting closer and closer to me. And when I was done, she was like, can I get a demo of that, the piano and the lyrics? And I said, why? And she was like, because I would like to have that song on my album. And that wasn't up for grabs at the time. It was just a song I played to her to break the ice. So I really had to think about it, because I didn't understand a girl like Christina who had everything that was beautiful, wouldn't even understand what the song was truly about. But then I let her sing it, demo it. And, I bought every note. As soon as she started, I could tell she was nervous. She was vulnerable and her emotion was on point. And then it hit me like, okay, you know, she gets it. She gets it. Yes, of course. That's right. Because you called her dark. Of course she gets this, Linda. And the most telling part was at the very beginning of the song. I let her that day bring a friend. And I said, okay, no problem. And so she brings the friend, and she's literally, you know, in the you can hear this on the microphone. And because she's reading the lyrics, and she says to her friend, and we're all in the same room because my studio is just like one big open room. And we're all in headphones, and she says I start the song, you know, and then she says to her friend, you know, in a whisper, like, don't look at me, and, you know, and she said that, and I knew right there, this girl's vulnerable. I'm keeping that, and this song is definitely hers. So I left that at the very top. The majority of the vocal, 80% of the vocal is her live take, her first take.
Really?
And we just we just punched in a few words that she flubbed, you know, because she was just knew the song, and then punched in the bridge because she didn't know what to do with the bridge yet. And then we punched in that, but 80% of that vocal is the first take that she did, that first demo.
Oh, it's an amazing story, and how you get to the artist to these places emotionally is phenomenal indeed. Now, if you're talking about your studio there, what do you think makes a good environment for a studio? Just not to do equipment or anything like that. Obviously, you need really good equipment, that's a given. But as far as making the artist feel comfortable, I think you're a little bit of a I hope you don't mind me saying, a wee bit of a psychologist in that way. You obviously hit the nail on the head every time. What is it that makes an artist come into your studio and feel that comfortable?
I think it's because it goes back to my honesty. You know, I'm not a bullshitter. I don't care who walks through the door. You know, I'm not I'm not an ass kisser. I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell them what I feel they need to hear. So it makes me safe. Because again, I don't have an agenda. I don't have an intention. My intention is just to make people feel comfortable and creative. And in order to be creative and comfortable, you have to feel safe in your environment. And I just supply that safety. I don't know how. And I talk to them. I don't just whip out, here's a song of mine by Linda Perry. Here you go, sing it, and sing it exactly like this. I don't do that. I'm not Dr. Luke, you know. I don't sit there and formulate music and here's the BPM and here's the shit that, you know, he's great at doing that stuff. All those people are, but that's not who I am. I'm more like, I start from scratch. I want to know about the artist. I want to talk to them. I want to hear what's on their mind. I want to know what's troubling them. And then as they're talking, you know, I can just reach over and start, you know, I'll pick up a guitar and there's something in their tone, you know, and I'll just like go, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's time. The song is here, you know, and I'll just get them to ad lib. I put the microphone in front of them. I grab, you know, if it's piano or guitar, and I hear it all in their voice, in their talking voice. And then I'll just say, ad lib, the way you just did just now. You told me a story. This whole conversation we've been having has been ad lib. Did you plan on having this conversation? No. Did you write it out before you got here? No. And I said, that's ad libbing. You know, as you and I right now, you might have an idea of what you want to ask me, but all my answers are just coming from the top of my head, from my heart. So to me, that's what music is. Music is exactly that. So you should get in front of that microphone and just not know what you're doing and just, I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm feeling kind of desperate. You make me nervous every day, but that's just the way it is. I don't, you know, whatever. So I'm just saying whatever is the top of my head right now. whether it's good or not, it doesn't matter. It's getting the comfort of exploring the possibilities of what you're capable of doing without knowing what you're doing. And the most brilliant people in the world, the biggest scholars, the best poets, the best storytellers in the world cannot sit down and create something more genius than what's going to come out of your unconscious mind.
Wow.
That's it.
Your writing process, you pick up the guitar and as you just said there, whatever happens. I've heard that you state that before. What songs this might be a case of there's far too many to mention, but can you remember what songs that have came like that? They just, you started
all of them.
All of them? Wow.
All of them come that. I don't plan a song. They all come that way. I've never pre-written a lyric. I've never okay, I'm going to today, let's see, I'm going to do G minor. And then I'm going to switch to F. Where do I go? I don't know. Do I do, no, I don't do that. I just, oh, that sounds weird. Whatever. I'm still going to do it. I just go with it. And then I just start, if the chords feel right, I just start singing. And then the lyrics, the melody, everything, the arrangement, it all comes at the same time.
Excellent. Now, last time we're going to let you get away in a couple of minutes. I am going to, my wife got me tickets to go and see Joker being played at the Royal Concert Hall. They're touring with an orchestra and they're playing the soundtrack while the film is playing. Now, I've heard that you're a big fan of the soundtrack of Joker. Is that right?
Yes. Oh my God, how beautiful! I didn't even think about that. Is it Hildur doing it, or is it somebody else?
She's not been
who's
advertised.
Conducting?
It's been cancelled a couple of times because of COVID, but I don't know if that's conflicting with her schedule. Yeah. I really hope that she's doing it. Because that would be great.
It's so beautiful because the reason why it's my favorite, I'm like ever. I mean, it's such a great. I mean, she nailed it because what she did, I rarely see in films. She nailed his theme, his character. Like when he evolved, she evolved. You know what I mean? It's like the music evolved with the character. And then it was so eerie and powerful and beautiful the way every single time he had a transformation, that the song, that bathroom scene, where he's transforming into the Joker after shooting, the guy for the very first time, having that first taste of killing someone, the strength of killing somebody that was, affecting him emotionally, that was putting him down. And he went into that bathroom and that music came on and he just transformed into the Joker. When he transformed into the Joker, when he went out to the talk show, with Murray, I mean, all of it, it was incredible. I mean, what she delivered was like, that was a true collaboration. She became a different character. She brought in a character that was a supporting role.
Absolutely.
She didn't just earn the best composed. That was best supporting actor. That was an incredible, that's what an actor, as a supporting actor, is supposed to do with the main character. But she played that part and she did it so, genius. Literally the best. Nothing can top that to me, except another one of her soundtracks.
I've got two quotes that I'm going to read to you and you have to guess who said them, okay? And here's a twist. You are always in the possible options to answer, okay? So here we go. Labels run around saying there's a problem. People aren't buying records. No, they're not buying your records because you're making shitty ones. Now put some really good records out. Okay. Last quote, and I'll let you get away, okay? Right now, a lot of women are choosing to be pushed around, choosing fame out of dignity. Why fucking listen? Why are you listening to dumb fucking idiot that's telling you that your breasts are too small and your lips are too perky? Tell them to fuck off. Why are women doing it? Why does a woman go into the hotel room with a slimy guy who says, private jets, money in your account? All you got to do is suck me off. You'll have everything you want. Suck my dick, and it'll take 5 minutes.
Unless somebody else is that foul, that's definitely me.
All right. The choices were going to be Linda Perry or Dolly Parton. It seems pretty obvious. Linda, it's been an absolute pleasure. I truly, truly appreciate the time. You're a legend. And if you and Rhodes are ever over in Scotland, please give us a shout.
Scott, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.